Guys, I just want you to remind yourselves that the person who is talking about cancel culture not existing and the fact that people deserve to get fired for not being sensitive is the same idiot that said crap like this.
You see, my dearest Riley, it is this instinctive and burning need to procreate between a man and a bitch that not only keeps the human race going, but also fuels many important industries, such as my very own.
So what do you think about homies over hoes?
Is that something at Denny's? I don't know what that is.
Homies over hoes? You know, like, you supposed to put your homie over a hoe. That's how pimps do, right?
I don't think homies over hoes is a sentiment that a pimp named Slickback can co-sign, Riley. I mean, don't get me wrong. A pimp named Slickback will put a lot of things over a hoe. Money over a hoe? Always. Brand new gators over a hoe? Absolutely. A turkey sandwich with just tomato? Guaranteed. But homies? Oh no. A pimp named Slickback don't do shit for the homies. Let me reiterate, don't do shit for the homies. Unless the homie wanna walk that stroll and get that money, the homie ain't getting a damn thing. And the same goes for brothers, peeps, dudes, fellas, dunnies, comrades, whatever the niggas is calling each other nowadays. Sound like some gay shit to me. The hardest thing for a pimp is to find a medium. That's like buying cane in the Beverly Hills trying to find a medium. You see the fur with the hood on it? That's pimping. I highly recommend the Vucci for the pimp, you know, when it's dressed down pimping Fridays.
Now answer me this. How is someone who pretends to be a pimp going to talk about anyone else saying disgusting and vile things? Because pimps abuse women.
Without judgment and repercussion from cancel culture.
If you ask all of the people that didn't make it to the NBA, if you ask them if we just lowered the goal down another foot, they all tell you they make it.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes the out of bounds, but the out of bounds got to be there or you'll run up in the stands, right?
Mm-hmm.
So some of these things are for the benefit of everything. Nobody likes the speed limit, but it's necessary. Nobody likes the shoulder of the road, but it's there for a reason. Mm-hmm. My point is, people weren't all that extremely funny back when they could say whatever they wanted to say. At the end of the day, there's no cancel culture. Cancellation doesn't have its own culture. That was people of color. That was us policing our own culture. That was people without a voice being trashed by people just because they had a bigger name than them and more money than them and a better office than them. They could sweep them up under the rug like they didn't matter. I don't know what people we think got canceled that we wish we had back. I don't even know who are they. It's done for the reasons it's done for, and it helped who it helped. If all that's going to happen is we have to be more sensitive in the way that we talk, isn't that what we want anyway? I'm saying your job as a comedian is to please the most amount of people with your art. So if you want to offend somebody, nobody took those words away from you. Mm-hmm. Dirty bitch ain't been taken away. You can say that, but don't call somebody this word when you know this affects all of these people. Don't use the R word when you really mean people on the spectrum. Don't say this word instead of saying autistic. Don't say this word instead of saying little people. Look, if these are the confines that keep you from doing the craft God put you to, then it probably ain't for you.
You're telling
That's
us
all.
I know next to nothing about Cat Williams, but this has to be the dumbest answer I've ever heard in my entire life. Didn't Kelly Stewart get fired for tweets that she made 12 years ago? Over a decade ago. And you want to tell me that cancel culture isn't real? She was a young person who was being attacked by dudes. I don't know the full story of the thing, but if we're going by what she said, she was being attacked by a bunch of misogynists, real misogynists, for stuff, and she fired back the only way she could think of. She has since apologized for that action, but she lost her job at ESPN after working there only 4 weeks. She lost apparently an old job after working there for 4 weeks. Listen to this clip from Black and White Sports.
In Vegas announced, this is from Outkick here. Like cowards, ESPN fires Kelly Stewart over old tweets. Kelly Stewart, known as Kelly in Vegas, announced Friday that ESPN has terminated her contract over tweets she sent out in 2012. And she actually put out a statement here on Twitter. I wanted to put out a statement on today's news so all of you could see my thoughts. And it says here, ESPN has notified me they terminated my contract due to deleted tweets from 2012. I know the words I use are unacceptable and hurtful, and I'm terribly sorry for the lapse in judgment, but I cannot apologize for standing up to the vicious attacks I and so many other female personalities endured from anonymous online trolls. While I regret the language I tweeted over a decade ago, I don't regret standing up for myself against vile, threatening, and misogynistic attacks from men who are threatened by a woman daring to attempt to make a living in the overwhelming male sports gambling industry. I believe I had to stand up for myself in order to make it in this industry, and I responded to the threats of violence and sexist insults with the most powerful language I could think to use. A decade later, I wish I had made the decision to respond to their vitriol with my own, but I cannot change my past. I am not proud of everything I've said in my life, but I'm a better person now than I was a decade ago. I hope to be a better person than this a decade from now. I don't think anyone should be judged by their best or worst tweets, and I'm disappointed that ESPN allowed the same misogynistic trolls harassing me online a decade ago to continue to impact my life a decade later. Women in sports have challenges online that men can only imagine. I wish ESPN had been willing to stand behind me, particularly because I'd already been suspended for these tweets by another company several years ago, but I cannot control their decision. I can only say I'm sorry for the person I was, and some of the mistakes I made in my youth. I know that healing takes time and that wounds don't heal overnight, but I truly hope and pray that you can accept this apology and allow me to continue to take the steps towards personal growth, understanding, and acceptance that I have been working hard at ever since making this terrible mistake back in 2012. Thank you for all the love and support.
That tweet should put everything into perspective. It should put everything into perspective. Cancel culture is real. You can't ever get redemption for things that you said 12 years ago. Kevin Hart got fired from hosting the Oscars, although I think he dodged a bullet there, because of crap he said years ago that he hasn't said since. Cancel culture is when somebody thinks you're a problematic individual, they dig up your past and go through your old bones to see stuff, and they will raise a stink to your employer to get you fired. Holy crap. Is Cat Williams always this stupid? Is he always this idiotic? I'm just baffled by this, because I know next to nothing about him. But people are saying that he's a poignant individual. Really? That you like this message from Cat Williams? Now, I'm not going to post this on the screen because I'm lazy. I don't want to do much editing. But let me read you a series of tweets that somebody posted onto Twitter in response to the Cat Williams thing. And this is just absolutely idiotic. This dude named Zach basically said my exact answer. It's not real, but if it was, why does purposely undermining groups of people for shock value you make or break your complete comedy quality? Like, you weren't that funny to begin with if that was the case. First off, black comedians make white jokes all the time, and you don't see white people complaining about that. No, it always seems to be, when you're making fun of a minority group, it's comedy. It's meant to be edgy. Do I listen to edgy comedy? Nah, I listen to more stuff like Tim Hawkins, who's clean. But I understand the edgier stuff. But whenever you make fun of a white person, it's completely acceptable. But if you make fun of a black person or a gay person or any of those other groups, all of a sudden you're supposed to feel sorry for it, even though you're a freaking comedian and it's jokes and you're not meant to take jokes seriously. There's a difference between bullying and taking a joke. There's a difference between bullying and a joke. He proceeds to say, everyone's saying that ain't except this answer from Cat. This guy is horrible with writing. Dang, y'all ain't peep his comedy. What? I'm not even kidding you. This is exactly how the dude's writing is. Dude is smart. The pimp crap, obvious satire. Nah, y'all got me effed up with this. Wow, I'm shocked. It's subtle microaggressions towards black man's intellect. And as a black person myself, I am so tired of people using the term microaggressions. There is no such thing as microaggressions. None. But you want to make it seem like there's such a thing as microaggressions. A microaggression is something that is so minuscule, so small, that you are offended by it. Good Lord, it only bothers you and nobody else. This is so dumb. This is so idiotic. And this person can't write worth crap. I at least have an excuse. My phone screen's busted. It's busted, but I still at least try to come up with something coherent, or I'll delete the tweet and rewrite it. That's not what this dude did. Someone else said, named Tanya Excessive, whatever her name is. She's a blue check mark. He's right. Also, what's this from? Would love to see the whole vid. Someone named Ryan said, this is a straw man though. Maybe it started out with those good intentions, but it's so much bigger than that now. We are a society extremely fearful for expressing divergent viewpoints. Having that fear in America is not what America was founded for. No one should ever be afraid to speak out for what they believe in. It may be right, it may be wrong, but should never be silenced. Society nowadays is way too sensitive. Was it like this 10 years ago? Yeah, when people were pissing themselves over Odd Future and crap, but you probably wouldn't know much about that. I don't know that comment, but all I'm going to say is this. Trump supporters get canceled. I'm not meaning to make this... sometimes I have to make this political, actually. People who are conservative and voted a certain way as a Republican or as a Trump supporter would get canceled, would get taken down. Gina Carano, for instance, said something about, Judaism or whatever. I forget exactly the tweets. But it was something very similar to what Arnold Schwarzenegger would say or some leftists would say about Trump. She gets fired, the leftists get bigger pay bonuses. I do not understand how you cannot see that cancel culture is a real thing. It is so real. I am just, this is not microaggressions towards a black man's intellect. This man is stupid beyond words. Like, beyond words. Now, should you purposely go and target people? Like, if there's a man in the crowd that you don't like, should you purposely target him and spout insult after insult after insult after insult? No. That is what we call bullying. Now, if it's someone that you don't mind and it's just lighthearted jabbing and he's laughing at it and he doesn't mind, that's different. But for you to dictate what people should say by getting them fired, and by taking everything away from them. Kelly Stewart got fired because of things she said 12 years ago. And I don't even know what the heck she said. I don't give a crap about what she said because it was 12 years ago. I could care less. She got fired for things she said 12 years ago. And you expect me to not think that cancel culture is real? I don't know her politics. I don't care about her politics. She was a woman hired by ESPN and people fired her over crap said 12 years ago. You cannot tell me cancel culture isn't real. It's to the point where even people who don't even have the same political views as me get pissed off whenever someone who's conservative gets fired for simply being a conservative. You have to sit in lockstep with these idiots or else you are gone. That is it. That there's no more to the story. That's all that you can accept. Period. Cat Williams seems like an idiot. I've heard of his name, but he seems like a big old massive idiot. And people said the whole pimp thing is obviously satire. Well, you know that pimps are offensive towards women where they're abusive towards women, right? So if he's allowed to be a satirical pimp, why can't people be satirical about other things? You see the hypocrisy when people say, well, the pimp thing is obviously satirical. Well, so is everything else a comedian does. And if they're obviously trying to hide their anti-Semitism or their racism behind so-called comedy, then they need to be fired. But if it's just them making jokes, then get over yourself. Stop being oversensitive. We live in a cookie-cutter world, and it's so disgusting. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you didn't like it, hit the dislike button. Comment down below, tell me what you think. Subscribe and hit the bell icon if you want to see more of my content. And share this video because it tells the algorithm that you like what you saw. This is Game 5 Blobfish Production signing off, saying take care and God bless. Peace out, everybody, and be good to one another.